Hi, this is Katie from picknutrition.com. I show women and men how to have healthy body fat levels without dieting so they can live a healthy life in the modern world and become the person they want to be. I also do digestive treatment plans to help people who have digestive symptoms. So, welcome to the blog today. Today's blog is all about how to have a calm mind, which will increase your energy levels. And I'm going to give you 5 lifestyle foundation tips, including some nutrition tip in there as well to really help you. And this blog is in response to the blog I did a couple of weeks ago, which was on 5 signs your body's telling you that you need to pay more attention to your health. And I asked for feedback and that I would answer in today's blog the sign that I got the most responses for. So I got responses for all of them actually. So thank you to everyone that has responded. I really appreciate that, and I hope that you enjoy the content that I give, and I hope that it inspires and helps you to really stay anchored in taking care of yourself, because as I said last time, your health is your most important priority. It should be the center of your existence, and we need to prioritize it and get into that habit of prioritizing it. So the response, the sign that I received the most responses to is the ping pong mind. And what I'm going to do is explain what this is and how it affects us and why we tend to get a ping pong mind and what we can do about it. So I can really relate to this. I feel like in general this can be a problem for most of us, but I know if you're slightly on the more creative side, you can really suffer with this ping pong mind, and it's pretty draining when you do feel that that's how your mind is. So my sister actually calls this chaotic mental jumble. She actually sent me a WhatsApp about something, and she mentioned that, and she does writing, and I thought, God, chaotic mental jumble, that's a perfect explanation for what a ping pong mind is. So it's where you feel like, yeah, you've really got a jumble in your mind and you find it hard to concentrate on one task at a time, and you feel that your mind is flitting here, there, and everywhere. And you feel like you'll go through the day, and at the end of the day, you just think, oh, I feel exhausted. And I haven't actually done a lot of physical work, and you maybe feel you've been working on some projects, whether you're at home or whether you're at work, and you just feel that you've had this cluttered mind. So how this can make you feel is it can drain your energy levels, because the mind affects the body, we know this. And really, when we talk about like health and having good energy levels, the first thing we want to think about with health is actually our mind, and having a calm mind and having order in our mind so that we can have order and calmness in our body. And we certainly use our mind on a daily basis, but what happens is we can get stuck up in there, and we can have a lot of mental activity going on, and we get disconnected from our body. And actually it's important to not be stuck up in your head too much, because I remember once reading about Buddhism, and they were saying, the Eastern man, he's like centered in his belly, and the Western man, his head is so like top heavy, it topples off. And I'm like, God, I remember that. And it created this analogy in my mind how important it is to have a calm mind. So why do we develop this chaotic mental jumble? Well, I feel a lot of it is our response to our environment and how our nervous system responds to the environment around us. And a typical example of this, if you ever catch yourself feeling rushed, feeling like you don't have time, feeling like your head is like racing, we call this like a mental hurry. And your body responds to that intention. It's like fight or flight. It's literally as if, you know, there's something chasing you and you've got to run away from it. And it's like your mind is trying to come up with a solution. So this is, I guess, where this chaotic mental jumble stems from. And so health starts in the mind. This is the key that I want to get across, is our health starts in our mind, because how we are thinking and the beliefs that we have and the thoughts that come from the beliefs and the feelings that we experience and how we respond to things, everything we do comes from our mind. So if we want to experience good health, we must start with our mind. And obviously, I'm a registered dietitian. I help people with nutrition. And I remember when I started practicing, I used to think, oh, if I could just tell people what to do and give them the nutrition knowledge, that you know, they would achieve the health result they wanted. And I realized that actually there was so much more that I had to work with the individual to get them in tune with what they really wanted, to clear the clutter away, to really connect with themselves and I guess tap into the desire to change, and really look at following through that and implementing that on a daily basis to get results. So it's so much more than what we know. We need to really work on centering and calming our mind when we want to change our physical health. So I am super excited that this was the sign that was most popular, because it's a really brilliant place to start. So what do we do to achieve a calmer mind so that we can have more energy in our bodies? So the first step is to declutter and have a clear environment. Your environment is so important, whether or not that's the people around you, or you know, the state of the organization of your home or your office, is decluttering and having a clean, clear environment free of clutter. So it's very cleansing, it's very calming, is that when we have order in our physical environment, we just feel so much calmer inside. So when we want to look at treating the ping pong mind, getting a calmer mind and decreasing the chaotic mental jumble, is to look at ordering your environment around. And you certainly don't want to be robotic about anything, but it just helps to keep this peace in the mind and stop the overthinking. And the second thing we want to be focusing on is mental rest, and this is where you know, this practice of meditation comes into it. And one day hopefully I'll be great at meditating, but my meditation comes from walking my dog in nature and breathing. But there are so many things you can do to achieve good mental rest, which really helps to calm the mind and get you sort of anchored more in your body. And this really, the first one is sleep. Now, I love sleep, and if you're a client and you have been working with me, you'll know that I am very passionate about sleep, because this really is the bedrock, literally, is having enough sleep. So knowing when is the optimal time for you to go to sleep. Some people can feel energized going to bed later and getting up later. Some people need to go to bed earlier and get up earlier for them to feel energized. So the timing, the amount, the timing of when you go, that all impacts on how regenerated you feel in the morning. So sleep is really so restful for the mind. Really rests the conscious mind. So that's point number 2. So really have a look at ways that you can introduce habits around this area of mental rest. Point number 3 is taking regular breaks from whatever activities you're doing and avoiding multitasking, because multitasking trains your brain to chop from one thing to the next. And what is a key thing to remember about our brain is it's a highly energy consuming organ. Our brain weighs 2% of our body weight, but it takes up 20% of all of the energy from food that your body is generating in a day, 20% of the blood glucose that's coming from the breakdown of all of the foods you're eating over the day. The brain only uses glucose. So it really is highly energy consuming organ. And if you think about our minds, when we start a task, most of the energy is used in initiating and focusing and starting on that task, and it's literally like a rocket ship taking off. If you think about the destination from A to B, most of the fuel is used in the takeoff. So when we start a task, it's literally like our brain is this rocket ship and it's using fuel and it's taking off in the task. And if we are doing one thing and then starting another task and then answering this email and then dealing with this phone call and then doing this and doing this and this and this and this, it's mentally exhausting. So that's really draining for the mind. So there are various different tips and techniques. Obviously, I don't have the time in this blog to go into the detail on that, but taking regular breaks, and if you are working for 90-minute blocks, which is the maximum recommended time to work on particular things, whether you're in the house or whether you're in the office, and taking a regular break. So this is stretching. You can dance a bit if you're at home. You can take the dog out for a walk if you're in the office. You can walk up a flight of stairs and visit somebody, go outside, walk to the water machine, walk to the toilet. So there are lots of things you can do to take regular breaks. And when you are working on particular tasks, is to avoid this idea of multitasking and taking regular breaks in between the different activities that you're working on. That's really energizing for your mind. The fourth point is hydration. So if we want to have clarity in our mind, we really need to hydrate ourselves with water. This really needs to be a priority. We're made of water, so we need to be drinking plenty of it. And I don't have water next to me right now, so the first thing I'm going to do in a minute is go and get a glass. So you really want to have a bottle, a glass of water with you throughout the day and regularly hydrate and enjoy the wonderful taste of water. Okay. So when you wake up in the morning, you're actually dehydrated because your body is lacking in fluids because you've just hopefully fasted for 12 hours. So the first thing you want to do when you wake up in the morning is drink a large glass of water, and that's a perfect way to start your task of hydrating over the day. Okay, and the last point is your rocket fuel, your food, your fuel to fuel your brain. So when we want to have this good mental energy in our minds, we want to feel calm, we want to be remembering that food is our fuel. And food contains calories. Calories are energy. So calories are good. They're really good. And a lot of people may be thinking, I don't know about that, but it's a good thing to think about. And you may be thinking calories are this thing we have to cut back on, especially if you've dieted, and that is a belief that we need to change. Calories are good. They provide the body with energy, the brain with energy to function well, to be energized over the day, to do work, to boost your metabolism. Calories are good. So when we balance our blood glucose levels, so that's the energy currency in our body, and our brain feeds on this. We want to have regular supply of this energy to the brain. And this is what I do with clients, is that we will, in the assessment and treatment plans, come up with optimal solutions of when is the best time for them to eat, how much, and of what. So we put food together and we have a mixture of the energy-giving nutrients, and we can tweak the mixture right between fats, carbohydrates, and proteins for each person, for their individual health needs, activity needs, and what they're doing over the day. So I don't have the scope in this blog to go into that in detail, but it's incredibly important to actually have a calm mind. What it does is it just really settles you in your mind. You feel calm. And it really helps with that urgency of racing through the day. You know, you calm down, you know exactly when you need to be eating, and it's a wonderful feeling. So hopefully these lifestyle, nutrition, hydration tips really help you if you're finding that you've got this chaos in your mind with your thoughts over the day. And please do drop me an email or write in the comments if you found this video useful. I'd love to have your feedback. And I hope you enjoy this, and I look forward to speaking with you next time.